thanks for tuning into F1 Podcast. This is episode 83, and Max, it's a historic podcast because we're doing our Singapore preview. It's a night race, first time ever.
Sure is.
And mate, I've been pretty excited all week just to see the circuit, just to get a look at the circuit all week. And the first taste came on the internet when I was looking at the photos, and then of course there was quali, so you got to see the cars going around. We didn't see practice. Max, your thoughts on the circuit first up before we talk about the news this week?
Can I just say you've been like a giggling schoolgirl all week?
I have,
I know
yeah.
you've been looking forward to this race,
Yeah.
as we all have.
I wish I was there.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah.
In that 40-odd degree heat. I really like the circuit. I think it looks great, and it's a spectacle, both for the drivers, the teams, and the fans. There's no doubt about it.
It's like a little Monaco, isn't it?
It is in it.
They've got the runoff
kind of
areas,
way.
but it's very tight. There's lots of turns. It's a long lap.
Mate, there's certain corners where there's just no margin for error at all, which I think is great. I mean, when you got pilots of the caliber of these guys, they probably shouldn't need too much of a runoff because in Singapore there's a lot of low-speed corners.
Yeah.
But I'm very impressed with the circuit. I don't know that there's going to be that much overtaking a la Valencia, which I'm slightly disappointed about.
I'm not expecting much overtaking either.
But hopefully we might get a bit of inclement weather, mate. We might get a little bit of rain, and that might spice things up. But overall, I'm impressed with what Singapore have put on, and I think the team are pretty impressed as well. It's a very good-looking circuit.
It's very picturesque as well.
Oh, it is
with
picturesque.
The Ferris wheel and the harbour and
Absolutely.
the buildings and the old buildings.
Got a bit of everything.
Yeah.
But in saying that, there's certain parts of the circuit that are existing roads in Singapore, and other parts of the track that have had fresh asphalt laid down. So that'll make it rather interesting. But overall, I think it's a very good circuit, and it'd be great to see how the guys adjust to racing there. Rather than just qualifying, but actually putting down 60-odd laps.
I agree, Max. Looking at the circuit, it's great to see it sort of jump out from the darkness. They say it's sort of 4 times the amount of light, but a couple of drivers said they were walking the circuit, and it did seem very light. But obviously, when you're going at F1 speeds, there's some dark areas there, and the lighting factor has obviously been the big news this week in terms of what's going to happen to the lights and things like that. But also curbs, those little nodules they've got on the curbs. The pit entry, they've been talking about the pit entry, mate, and also the bumps, just the physicality of racing around the circuit. Look
I
at
didn't realise how bumpy it was.
Yeah, Coulthard, I mean, he's a bit of an old fella, but he's one of the fittest drivers in Formula 1. He gets out of the car and he's just covered in sweat. I mean, the humidity, it's a very challenging circuit, Max.
Yeah, I likened it earlier today off camera to Pep with similarities to Malaysia. Not the track, but the actual temperature in itself. I mean, the guys at Malaysia lose a couple of kilos of weight. And I see no real difference with Singapore because the guys are getting out of the cars and they're absolutely trashed.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is in practice and qualifying. So I can't imagine the state they're going to be in when they complete a full race.
Yeah.
But you are right. Some of the curbs or the rumble strips are pretty high. So that calls for some caution.
And they've ground off some of those little nodules across the top, which is the first time, and actually one of the drivers said rightly that they haven't seen this before, and it's okay, don't cut the circuit, but what happens if you go off, what damage you're going to make? They're sort of changing the rules again on the run a little bit, Max.
Yeah, I guess you're right. What do you see this race having the odd accident, mate, or do you think it'll depend on the rain?
Oh, mate, at the moment they're saying it's a dry race, so assuming it's a dry race, I can see a couple of drivers kind of spearing it up the inside and having a go. It's like Monaco as far as I can see. There's not any overtaking possibilities really, but let's face it, Monaco you can do it out of the tunnel, you can do it in a couple of places. And I expect a couple of drivers, and I'll get to a bit more of my tips, Max, but I expect a couple of drivers to have a big go and put it up the inside or do something maybe a little bit silly. I think there could be some spice in tonight's race, mate.
I think you might be right.
But you're right. I mean, there's been sort of a lot of talk about the bumps and the physicality of the circuit, and I think Singapore's got a little ways to go. The lighting system looks great. The drivers haven't really had too much problem with it, and sure, it's bumpy and there's problems with the pit entry, but I think they'll get over that, Max. I think Singapore's going to put on a great spectacle. It looks great so far.
I think from a helicopter point of view, the lighting looks spectacular. If I was a driver, and looking at some of the in-car footage, there are, to me, certain parts of the track that could do with a couple of extra lights.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I guess they've got to adjust. But I just look at braking points. If I was hurling down a straight at 280, 290 kilometres an hour, it'd almost be difficult to get a braking point.
Yeah.
But these guys, they're the best pilots in the world, I guess, so they managed to do it. But I think that would have been one of the biggest things they would have had to adjust to at night time, getting their braking points done.
All right, Max. Well, moving on to qualifying for sure. Felipe Massa was on pole, and qualifying was pretty rudimentary for me. Lewis was quick. Felipe got him at the end. He's light, by the way. I think Felipe's a bit light, but he had some pace, mate. And qualifying, it was great to see the cars on the lights. A few sparks there, and Felipe's certainly in the box seat at the moment, mate, for the race.
Oh, for sure. Sorry, for sure. I thought Massa's lap. I disagree with him that he says it was the perfect lap. I don't think anyone can do the perfect lap, but I tell you what, it was pretty close.
It was a pretty
to
good one, yeah.
And to beat Hamilton effectively by around 6/10 in qualifying, to me, just smacks of a car that's a couple of laps light on fuel. But full credit to him. He put in a blistering lap,
Yeah.
and it was a wonderful time. And for Kimi to be pretty much 8/10 behind Felipe.
Kimi.
I'm sorry, but I'm pretty concerned now. I mean, to me, it's pretty much Felipe's championship to lose, or Lewis's championship to lose. I just don't think Kimi's going to factor into it.
Yeah, Max, that was the same. I sort of had I was holding on to something up until Monza, but after Monza, it's Kimi or Felipe. Felipe or Lewis, and Kimi really, to me, is not in the running, and he needs to be fully supportive now of Felipe. And quite frankly, Felipe's been ahead in so many sessions now, it doesn't surprise me. Maybe 6 months ago or earlier in the year I thought, Felipe got ahead of Kimi, but now I just sort of nod my head and say, oh well, yeah, Felipe seems to have momentum, Max.
Yeah, I don't know why Kimi can't dial that car in. I mean,
That's what it is.
Something's going on.
It's getting the performance out of the car. I don't think it's blind speed. I think you're right. It's dialing the car in.
Felipe's very comfortable in the Ferrari. Kimi just isn't, and something's going on, and I'm not quite sure what's changed in the last couple of races this season. But it doesn't bode well for Ferrari, I'm afraid. But good to see Felipe still, grabbing the mantle and taking it up to McLaren. And let's hope he has a great race.
All right, Max, let's finish off with a couple of the other qualifying highlights. There was a few fines, actually, but Williams did really well. Can I just say straight off the bat, Williams are getting a bit of pace now. It was good to see Nakajima and Rosberg up there.
Yeah, Naka, for the very first time in 14 races, qualifies in, puts the car in Q3 and puts it on 10th position. So well done, Kazuki. And great to see Nico up there again. Williams have had a very strange year by my estimation. And they started off with a bang with Nico, and it sort of petered out. But great to see Team Willie get qualified 2 cars in the top 10. So well done to them.
Yeah, exactly. And also, fines for Heidfeld and also for Rubens. So I think it's just the drivers getting a little bit used to the circuit. I don't see any malice there, Max, or anyone playing any funny business.
I can see why Heidfeld was fined. Slowing down to go into the pit entry when Rubens was on his hot lap. But as far as Rubens copying the €10,000 fine is concerned, I mean, he cut the line, the pit line, by about that much. And look, rules are rules, and I accept that and I understand that. But at the last moment, he decided to pull in. But something's got to be done about these guys slowing down.
So enjoy the race, and let us know what you think, and we'll see you next time.
All right, guys. See ya.
See ya. Bye.